Now we're going to look at another aspect of broken authentication, and that is password complexity. Now, with password complexity, what we are talking about is the need to have some kind of a rule about how complex your password is. And of course, complexity, it's in the eye of the beholder. Sometimes we've talked about passwords can be too complex. But in this case, we're going to look at what happens when passwords are not complex enough. So we're going to use the sign up page as our example in PHP. And you see that I've added Bootstrap in here. That's not necessary. That's just, showing you how easy it is to do and, make things look a little nicer, but not really necessary for the goal of the exercise. It's just something that I found to be interesting at the moment. So we are going to sign up as myself, and I'm going to just try this, where I don't have matching passwords. So it says, okay, passwords don't match. That's already good. But then I'll just use test as the password, and it says sign up successful. So that's a little disappointing because that's a very short password. So what are we going to do? What can we do to make sure that our password is a little more complex? Well, first of all, we can go in here and we can take a look at if post is not blank. Okay. Then we can look at this and say, so here it says password equal, but then what we want is one more if statement, right? So the if statement that we care about here is the length. So we already know they're equal, so we don't need to compare both of them. So let's just compare one. So if post password, and we will wrap this in the call to the strlen method because this is a string. And if you're wondering what this $_post is, it is a special variable in PHP that contains the parameters from the post request that were received. And this kind of shows you the all-in-one nature of PHP, where we can actually have something like this on our view. We are not dealing with a model view controller structure. We really are just relying on the view to do all the lifting for us. And you'll see that we are, again, interweaving the logic with the display. And so we are doing the password complexity rules inside of the same place where we have our HTML as well. So there it is, and then we just compare it to a value. So we compare it to, let's say, less than 8, right? So then we can have something along the lines of, if that happens, we can say, let's just copy this over. We can say something like this. Should be 8 or more characters. And that closes that out. And then here we need to open it back up again. And so we have, let's see if everything matches up. We have this match up to that, and this match up to that. So far, so good. And then here we'll close out that. And here we will have sign up successful. So there we go. That's not really filling me with confidence. The fact that it's giving me this kind of a different syntax highlighting than I'm expecting. But let's go for it. So here we are. And then we do that again. And there we go, unexpected question mark. And that's the problem. Here we go. So let's try that again. unexpected else. Oh, and that's because we're closing this out, and then we need to have this be over here. So now this lines up to this here. This lines up to here. We go. That looks good to me. And then we might need to close this out. So if we close this out, we should do that on a separate line. Here, so that closes that out. And this belongs to this here. And so we should be good to go. Yep, password should be 8 or more characters. So let's try test. And that's successful. So that's how we remediate the password complexity vulnerability. And of course, we can introduce a lot more rules, but that's a very basic example of at least having a longer password and enforcing that.